Alright, I got a Colibri Super Pipette here that I'm going to do. I think I've unloaded, or I've uploaded a video on one of these before, but I'm going to delete it because I was sitting in there and laying down the other day, and I was thinking, like, I always had trouble getting this side off over here. I said, you know, if you watch my previous video, you see how I fought getting that back on, this here case and everything. Well, I got thinking about this. I was doing something wrong. So I figured it out, and we're going to go through this here video, and we're going to repair it. This basically, lighter here, is basically brand new, except for my fingerprints on it. It is brand new. It actually came in the original box with paperwork here. Alright. So anyway, first off, let's get to getting on this. I got new screwdrivers. I haven't figured out the color code yet, but anyway. First thing you got to do is before you can even go on this, is remove the sticker, obviously. And unscrew this. And just pull this off. Now there's a little spring under here. You got to be careful if this pops off. There's a little spring there. Alright. So, put that away. Come in here and get down in here to slide that off. This is what locks the two case sides together. Alright. Now what we're going to do is remove this here, part of the flint spring assembly here. Alright. There we go. You guys, here's the flint. Okay. I'm going to take this off. And we're going to remove the hose there. Alright. And what we're going to do is remove the tank. Now, this up here is brand new, okay? Flint wheel. The inside, it's good. I'm not even going to mess with this, okay? Everything's perfect, but I wanted to show you something here, though. This is how you get this case off. See, when you got this tank out of here, this will move. See? And you're just gonna just gonna come up here. Yeah, let me. Okay, and gonna squeeze that together. Push that down, and that's gonna come out. There we go. See what we got here? So, this is all good up here, so I'm not going to disassemble this. If you need to remove any of this stuff, pull this out, you can figure that out. I'll leave my previous video if you want to go in depth a little more on that. But when you put this lighter back together, you have to put this right side case on first, and making sure that this thumb switch is down, all the way down, okay? Okay, case is on. Now you can just kind of squeeze that plastic case in a little bit, all right? And there you go. It's back on. So now you got the easy part. That's how you do that. Now what I'm going to do right now is go through here and take this apart. That's a little big. Let me get this one. Even though this lighter's new, this lighter could have been, it's been set with new seals and stuff in it, stoppers and all that for at least 30 years, I'm guessing. So that's out. I'm going to, I got the screw and everything out of there. Let me just make sure the spring's in there. So we're good. I'm going to use this part here to stick in here, then to unscrew this valve assembly. Okay. There we go there. Okay, so this is the top. Okay, looks like it's got the original filter in it with the screen, so even though that filter is probably brand new, I'm not going to, I'll use it if it's good shape, but, let me try blowing that out first. There we go. I think it come out. There. Right here. See? Look at that. You see that's brand new. See, this doesn't have no hole in it. It's got that screen on there. I'm taking that screen off. The only thing that's going to do, and that sponge, see how that sponge has got a little dimple in there? Well, that's from the orifice inside, and sometimes that can plug up that orifice. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a little, always poke a little hole in them. You say, well, it ain't the way they made it. Yeah, I know it ain't the way they made it, but that little sponge getting plugged up without a hole in it is going to make it, your lighter have to be serviced a lot sooner, especially if you use dirty butane when you're filling up your butane lighter. All right. Couldn't find a hammer, so anyway, you can see the small hole in there now. See, let's just, I'll tell you why I do this. Okay, this is obviously when you push down on this, this squeezes the sponge, so no gas comes out the side. But if this sponge has to get a little, say, dirty, for instance, when you open up the flame adjustment screw, that's going to take the pressure off this sponge. And if the sponge is plugged up around here, you're still going to get a certain amount of gas through the hole here. All right. So that's why I do that. Now, you can see that that's clean. That thing is clean as a whistle. This thing, look at that shiny brass down in there. This thing has no time on it at all. So, what I'm going to do is stick the sponge down in there. Sometimes these have a bevel. Okay, here we go. Alright. Make sure that's down in there straight. Yeah. It's down in there. You can even see how the hole even lines up. The center punch hole lines up with the sponge. So, we're good there. Yeah, we're good. So we put that back. Otherwise, if it's been used, you just got to clean everything out. All right, you just got to clean everything out. Okay. Now, what we got to do now is just replace these here O-rings. You say, well, if the lighter's brand new, why replace them? Because they've been sitting in the lighter for 30 years and they've probably flattened out. It could even be hard for that matter, but I'm not saying that you couldn't use them. You could use them on another lighter. But these, you see how the O-ring doesn't go much past the brass. Well, it's been sitting in that lighter for decades and smashing them in. I want to put something on there that's going to give me a little bit more resistance. Them O-rings felt pretty good, actually. I'll actually save them back and use them for some other lighter. They didn't break getting them off. So what I'm going to do is I'll take one of these O-rings that I got off and I'll measure the thickness of it. .96, 97, 0.97. All right, let's use a 1 millimeter. 4.5. So I'm going to use 4.5. Okay. So that's going to be this one. Should be this one right here. It says 2.5. Then you got the 1 millimeter cord, so you got to double that. So that's going to be a 4.5 millimeter OD. So these ought to be, these should be the perfect fit. Well, that isn't it. Put the wrong O-ring in there. There we go. Let me get another one out. I think I put a wrong O-ring in there. There we go. Now look at them. See how they go past the brass a little bit? That's what I need. Just what the doctor ordered there. And what I'm going to do too is put a little bit of, just a little dab of slide glide on, or sil glide on here. I like this stuff. It's got a extreme low temperature and high temperature rating on it. Just if you want to see it here, right here. Okay. Temperature rating on the back. Let me see what it says here, right here. -20 to 600 Fahrenheit. All right. All right. There we go. That fits in there perfect. That's just perfect. Feels good. You know, you can tell when you turn this, it's got to have some pressure on it. If it's as loose as them O-rings are real loose, you know, they're not tight enough in there, okay? Just keep that in mind. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, the stopper. You can see that stopper's got a dent in it, you know. And, you know, another thing is, too, I replace them because if they're hard, you know, if they're hard, they're not gonna, more apt of a chance of a leak. FYI, more chance of a leak. So, I'm just gonna, let me see if I can kind of measure the stem on this a little bit. 0.94. Let's try this one right here. You can get these stoppers, guys, off eBay. Guys out of China. Now there's a little O-ring here on the bottom that yeah, I'll go ahead and replace that too. See how small that is. I'm guessing that's going to be, this will work for that. I want to measure this. 1.66. That there 2.4 is kind of, that there 2.0, 2 millimeter OD, 4 millimeter cord. That's gonna be pretty good. It should do her. There we go. Yeah. That's gonna be good, real good. Be just what we need. Now, this O-ring here, you see how it kind of comes out very well past the brass. This in here could be okay and not even have to bench. This lighter's new. One thing I'm gonna do is put a little stretch test on it. Yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna leave that on there. So we're gonna be good there. We're good. That's good. Okay. All right, we got a pillar valve that unscrews. These are so much easier to work on. And I mean, that spring kind of sits in there flush. Usually they come out a little bit. So what I usually do on these springs, being they've been in there for decades, you know, and they could be a little bit shorter in length than they actually were when they put in there. So I'm going to stretch that spring a little bit, okay? And see how much I stretched it. You say, why is that? Put a little bit more pressure on that seal. Here, that's why. And even though these are good, you know, this is going to be a good seal. I'm going to, these here, I replace them. Even if they're good, just because that's not so much because the seal might not seal right on this, but so much as the hardness. You know, they could be a little bit harder on this because this is more of a working seal, you know, and you want that to be soft and pliable. Okay, I didn't save that back. Usually I save those back, but 3. Yeah. 2, 3, 6. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see here. I think I'm going to use a 3mm OD on this. Yeah, that'll work. 1 by 1 by 1. Let's add them all together. 3mm OD. Yep, I'll put it together, and it seemed like it could be a little tight. I might have to go down on the cord size down to 0.8 possibly, all depending if I can get any butane to go through this valve. If I can get butane to squirt through it, then I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. All right. Alright, now I'm going to take this here O-ring off. These are usually not even worth saving unless you absolutely have to. Okay? Unless you absolutely have to. This one would have worked. Yeah, that's kind of thin. I'm going to say probably a 7 on that. 5.5, maybe a 6. Yeah, I'm going to use a 7 on that. I don't have anything that big, but I'm going to stretch out this 3.7. Get it to work. 3.7 by 7. Probably could have used an 8 too, but you know, I've got a bigger 8. Let me just use an 8. I think we're going to be okay on that. 5.1 by 8. This will work. As long as it's screwed down into the hole, we'll be alright. It goes just past a little bit, barely. It should screw down in there fine. Yes, it does. Matter of fact, I would say that's the perfect one. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to put everything back together. Okay. Make sure I don't forget anything here while I'm doing this. We're good there. Kind of push that up a little bit so we're good there. Let's attach the hose. Let me get a stronger pair of tweezers. Don't chimp it. Don't, get a good pair of tweezers. Don't. These here are good. These are expensive. Demont, made in Switzerland. All right. These are excellent. They're strong. These ones here, they're not. I mean, they're good. They're good but they're not working. They're just like get little springs out and stuff like that. Okay. Now, when you put this part back in, you got to make sure that this here goes up over that valve, over that part. This little lever here goes up over this. You see what I'm saying here? Okay. Now I got to put a new piece of foam down in there because the foam, 30-year-old foam. You know what happens to 30-year-old foam. It don't last. So I got a piece of foam up here. This foam here, I didn't buy it. It come in with a battery from a little laptop. A static battery, so I'll just cut a piece of this off. This will work good. Dig down the scissors. All this foam does, guys, is all this foam does is just keeps this thing here from rattling on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Rattling. And that's what this foam's for. It's to keep that from rattling. See how that works? No rattling. So we're good there. Everything's good. Now, what we want to do is, go ahead and put this case here back on. We're good there. We put her in the part here that locks the case. Okay. Now, first thing we want to do now is fill it back up and bleed it. See how we're getting a lot of air out of there? Take the valves out on the tank, you're going to have a bunch of air in there. You got to bleed it out. Sometimes you'll get air and you'll get a little bit of sputtering of liquid butane coming out, but you want to get you don't want nothing coming out but liquid. You don't want nothing coming out but liquid. There we go. Let's see. All right. Still got a little air in there. If you get an irregular flame, guys, like that, you got some air in there still. Here it's sputtering. It's sputtering liquid. It's sputtering the butane out. Then air. It does take a little time for it to settle. Okay. Being this here isn't settled yet as far as the flame height goes, you know, the gas hasn't stabilized, I'm going to leave a little bit higher flame on it, because when it stabilizes, it has a tendency for the flame to go down, okay? So I'm going to leave it there. All right. So, let me I'm going to put this on. I'm just going to put it on right there. I got the little bitty spring. Watch out when you're handling these springs, because you're picking them up with your thumb, you're compressing them, and they slip out, and well, good luck finding something like that off the floor. Let's see what we got here. That's enough. That's more than enough. You know, so I'm just going to leave that like that. As far as this here little piece goes here, and a little, I usually take some of this here. This is contact adhesive. You know, just get your little piece of paper, spray some on there. You don't need much. That's enough for 20 of them stickers or more. Then get you a something like this, and also too, if you don't have this stuff, you seem like you got enough adhesive on the back, you might be able to take a blow dryer to it too, okay? It don't take much. Let's see how much I had left out of that. Just gonna grab that by the end and wipe this off a little bit. And put that down in there like that. All right. I'm gonna get one of my premium flints from Austria. Stick it in here. And I usually try to start this with my fingers. The reason is to keep from, you put the screwdriver on there, and sometimes it'll come off the screwdriver. Next thing you know, you're on your hands and knees on the floor trying to find it, you know. When you tighten these up, guys, that's under spring pressure, so you don't have to put pressure on that. Just when it starts, I don't even snug it, just when it starts to, let's put it this way, if I had to, you got a stiff fingernail, you can take it off that way. There we go. Flame adjustment down. And plenty of flame adjustment there. It's still stabilizing. I'm not going to strike it anymore with a flint because I don't want the inside flint residue on this lighter, because this is brand new. I'll be able to hit that more, open that more with my, let me see here. Okay. I think I'm going to have to take that, yeah, I'm going to take the flame adjustment. Okay, I'm going to take this here off again. Just do a little, I thought I had it set enough, but yeah. Try it right there. You take this apart and you look at how that flame adjustment stopper is, you'll figure it out. And it's not real difficult. There we go. Okay. some more. This way. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Let's make sure this is tight and snug. That's good. Now, just stick this back on. Like I said, guys, if you can't get the sticker off, put a blow dryer on or heat it a little bit. Sometimes they don't come off that easy, okay? But here's what we got, Super Pipette, guys. Very, very nice. Super Pipette. Wipe this down. Well, I don't have a rag, but I'm gonna wipe it off my t-shirt here and put her back in the case. I'll polish it up before I send it to him. This guy's already spoken for this. So, I got 2 lighters. I actually worked on this gentleman, wanted them both. He sent me lighters to be repaired, and he wanted that one. And he wanted this one. These are hard to come by here. Very hard to come by. One of my favorite pipe lighters right here. Look at that. You could even strike it that way. These are called Flaminaire F12s. All right, guys. That's it.